So people have asked me what I do for water, how to make sure I have good drinking water. And that is very important because out here on the trail, things get passed along. And also there are things like cows upstream, etc. But here's how I do it. I filter water, but first I start by filling a water bladder in a nice fast-moving stream like this. For camp tonight, I want the whole thing full, so I'll fill my bladder up. I'll fill the water bladder up. Whether my bladder is full or not, we don't know. And then I will take this and attach a filter to it and filter it into a bottle, and I'll show you that in the next step. Okay, well, sometimes I like to do this from my hammock because it's more comfortable than sitting on the ground. But what I have is a water filter that I'll screw to the bottom of the bladder. And you can, if you want, like I have a coupler here to screw it to my water bottle. So that has a little air space in it. Or you can just do this filtering and let it be free form, but I like to do it this way. So I screw the bottle on. This filter is called the Sawyer squeeze, and you'll see why in a little bit. We just take and we squeeze the bladder, and that fills up the bottle with water. So this bag will fill up 2 water bottles, which would be plenty enough for what I need to do tonight. The stream is just down the trail, just a little whip stitch, and so I may have to go back in the morning and get another go round. So this filter filters out giardia, bacteria, a lot of other things. So you could literally take muddy water and run through it, and it would come out pretty clean on the other side. I don't recommend that, but the company that makes this filter is run by a man who is a believer, and he told the Lord that he wanted to solve 2 of the major problems on the earth for the third world, and one of them was pure water, and the other is mosquito-borne diseases. And his company, Sawyer, they distribute these filters all over the world, in Africa, especially in Africa, but they distribute them all over the world. And they've had just amazing results with when they distribute these filters into communities and teach them how to use their filters, that it just really puts a kibosh on disease in those areas, which I think is really, really cool. It's one of the reasons why I continue to use their filters, because they're doing so much good. In the U.S., we'll have to pay probably $30 for these filters, but the company produces them and gives them away. I think their cost is like $2 or something like that. So it's really an amazing thing. Now I have pure water that I'm very confident in drinking. If I came to a water source that I was not so confident about, I also have a treatment which is like a chlorine treatment. It's called Aquamira, and so I can either use this by itself or both together. Generally, I like to use the filter because it gets rid of all the cloudy stuff. So if there's a little dirt in the water or whatever, the filter takes it out. If I was unsure, and if I knew that there was a pasture field upstream and it was the only water source I had, I would probably filter. And then you mix, there's 2 parts, you mix 2 parts together, let it stand a little bit, and then pour it in and wait 7 to 10 minutes, and then the water should be pure. So those are the 2 things, but by and large, the main method I use is the filter. Now, I've filtered out 1 water bottle. That'll be enough to make me supper. I've still got my bladder, the water bladder full of water, or half full of water that would filter another liter, which I may do to drink some tonight or to have for breakfast in the morning. But it doesn't take very much time, and it's really handy, and it ensures you have good drinking water. Back when I first started backpacking, we just assumed that everything in a mountain stream was pure and you could just drink straight out of the stream. And while that certainly is true some places, and maybe more places than we would know, it's not a good idea in this day and generation. So I want to show you also how I prepare a lot of my meals. These are meals that I've created myself, and I do something called freezer bag cooking. So here is my meal for tonight, and the name of it is beef potato bark stew. So it's basically mashed potatoes that have been made with beef beef juice. There's a word for it, I can't think of it right now. With beef broth, and then in that there are also some mixed vegetables and hamburger, freeze-dried hamburger. So anyway, in freezer bag cooking, the idea is I've got this. This is called a koozie, a cozy, whatever you want to call it, and I put my meal that I'm going to prep in there, and into the cozy with the lid open. Then I need to know how much water it takes. And this recipe is approximately 2 cups. So my little pot here has graduated markings on it, and so I look for and add my water here to basically the 2 cup line. Let me put the lid back on the water so it doesn't spill. Because when you filter everything, you really don't want to have to repeat the process. So this particular pot is a heat exchanger pot. I like it because it cooks things faster, and I'm impatient. So you turn on the gas, light it up, turn it up a little bit. This process usually takes, for 2 cups of water, if I put a lid on, it should take somewhere around 2 minutes. So we're going to let that sit there and cook, and then I'll get back to you after it boils. So we're back after 2 minutes. The water has boiled, or whatever amount of time. It wasn't very long. That's what I love about the stove. And all I do is simply pour the water into the freezer bag in this koozie, and I let it stand for probably 20 minutes to get everything rehydrated. It's a good idea to give it a little stir. Make sure that you got moisture at all the things that you want to rehydrate. And the other thing that I like to do on trail is I like to add some kind of oil to the meal, because it adds lots of calories. And so today's oil of choice is coconut oil. Looks like it melted during the day and ran to the side here, but I'll put a couple of big dollops of coconut oil in there. It actually makes it taste good too. And that gives me just these couple spoonfuls of oil probably give you another 200 calories. And when you're burning a lot of calories, you need all you can get. So stir it up, and then I'll close the bag up and close the cozy, and then my meal will be ready in 20 minutes. I don't have to do any further prep. So I guess you wouldn't call it gourmet cooking, but this week I've been eating all meals that I prepped myself, and actually I like them as good or better than the commercially available foods, and I think they're much healthier as well. So let me get this closed up quick so I don't lose all the heat out, and I've got a meal. Now I can just sit back or do some other camp chores. The other type of meal that I sometimes use, and this would be tomorrow's breakfast, can either be cold soaked or hot soaked. I like a hot breakfast, but if I was going to do a cold soak, I would just put the amount of water in I need overnight, and voila, this Power Chia Bomb will be ready in the morning. This is Power Chia Bomb with peaches and pecans, and you can add oil to it, although you can't really add oil to it cold because it won't melt. So that's a little bit on food prep.